In the big games, he wanted to be the guy. I remember the year when it was him and Suarez going at it for goal, and he would look at the Liverpool fixture and think, he'll score 2, I need to score 3. Verbals, physical challenges, goals he scored. Someone that wanted to make it uncomfortable for me. So you never come off the pitch against Wayne not tired, physically and mentally. That was someone, the first person I came across that in every element of the game I considered important, he showed me that he was superior.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stelling and this is Football's Greatest. Each week I'll be sitting down with a legend to discuss and debate some of the best exponents of the beautiful game. The players that got you off your seat, the hard men that made you wince, and the moments that will stay with you for life. In a career that took in Wolves, Everton, Manchester City and Aston Villa, Joleon Lescott played against some of the top centre-forwards of the past 25 years. Wayne Rooney, Thierry Henry, Karim Benzema, Robin van Persie. But who makes the top 5 that he's ever faced? That's the question we're asking today. So, Joleon, you're going to tell us the 5 most difficult strikers that you've played against. So, in your view, the best strikers, the toughest opponents. And I have to tell you, there are some really interesting selections in here. Let's start with number 5. And you've gone for Nicolas Anelka, which will surprise some people because his nickname was the Sulk.
Oh, nah, St. Nicholas to me and my friends.
Yeah.
But nah.
St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas.
Brilliant.
Again, someone who I'm a massive fan of. Obviously growing up, just watching him play, and it's probably made me recognise how big Real Madrid are, or were, when he went there, and there's a team from Spain paying so much money for someone, and that was so young, so exciting talent. A friend of mine looked very similar to him, and he played a striker, was also a fan at school, so that again, that helps. But playing against him, you recognise his levels, like different, whatever. Again, had a lot of attributes that would probably go unnoticed, strong, but in terms of his sharpness and his ability, I think later on in his career when he then operated as a false 9 more so and played after the main striker in a deeper role, literally could have done whatever he wanted to.
I think people forget he was top Premier League goal scorer 2008, 2009.
Yeah, no, again, probably there's a few that I think that I've forgotten about. Obviously, when we talk about today's game, I think the variety of strikers then and the variables that you'd face was different then.
Why did he get not the St. Nicholas nickname? Why did he get called Le Sulk? Was it just his demeanour?
Maybe, yeah. Again, probably because he probably wasn't enjoying it as much as other people deemed he should. But he was obviously contributing, and his fans that he played for enjoyed him. And again, when I think of him now, was his demeanour in terms of or maybe the expectation of what he could do and how often he did it, but I don't know why when I speak about him to teammates, they don't have that opinion of him, which is an important thing.
Was he a talker? Would he talk to you when you're trying to mark him?
No, he'd say hello, polite obviously, but he was quiet. I think he was quiet in general, so I didn't anticipate having to worry about him trying to distract me verbally. I just had to focus on what he was doing.
And he scored goals everywhere he played in this country, didn't he? Arsenal, City, Bolton, Chelsea,
Liverpool. He's contributed. Yeah, you can't play for them teams if you're not elite. Yeah. So special.
Interesting choice number 5, and an equally interesting choice number 4, because this is Edinson Cavani.
Yeah,
and a lot of people would maybe say didn't see the best of him in this country, the best of him at Napoli or PSG. Yeah,
again, these picks are based on how they played against me. I'm not basing it on their overall career, because then you could just pick the obvious names. I think anyone could pick them. That's why you won't see Ronaldo, Messi in there. But in terms of against me, Cavani was my first Champions League game, and to recognise the movement of that level was something new. Was a number 9 that wasn't interested in anything other than scoring, and I played with one of them, Sergio. So the mindset I was used to, but in terms of that experience and figuring out that his movements are very selfish in a way for him to score. Again, that was something that was relatively new. So yeah, he was in there and tough every time. His movements got a bit slower as the years went on, but he's still decisive in his movement.
I mean, it's interesting because you compared him with Sergio Aguero there. I'll give the secret away now that he's not in your top 5.
I didn't even think about him, to be fair, because I played with him. It was people I just played against enough. Again, I played with against Sergio and he didn't score, so that goes against him. But in regards to, definitely, if you're asking me my best 11 I played with, he's in there.
Right.
He's definitely in there because talk about that mindset, and I'm one of, I don't know if it's relevant now, but of a mind that thinks your number 9 should be that selfish, like a Haaland, say, over Sergio. It's like, just score. The rest of us will do what we need to do. Your job is to score, and his job was to score. And we knew that he would, in the big games, he wanted to be the guy. I remember the year when it was him and Suarez going at it for goal, and he would look at the Liverpool fixture and think, he'll score 2, I need to score 3, and like literally focus on outscoring Suarez or the next competitor. But he definitely goes in my best 11, but against now.
It's interesting that you put Cavani in, and you say obviously you've got the merits there of Sergio Aguero. There's no Didier Drogba, for example, here. Does that mean you would have you preferred playing against the sort of the man mountains, the Drogbas, if you like, rather than those who've got the movement? And
I would definitely. And I'm not saying I had better outcomes against Didier, but I enjoyed that because he wanted to play the way I wanted to defend. So again, it was physical. Lots of tussles and physical outcomes, and again, over the course of my career, he got the best of me due to him scoring more goals than I kept clean sheets. But it was enjoyable, and if I'm enjoying it, then you know what I mean. As much as I would be competitors, I shouldn't really be enjoying it, but I enjoyed playing against Drogba because again, he wanted to play the way I wanted to defend.
Was he a good guy to play against? I mean, did you have any sort of rapport?
Yeah. Again, good guy, really good guy. One that was obviously tried to distract me, but a very good human being, and a very tough competitor. But like I said, it was something I enjoyed that challenge. And very smart because I could use all my physical attributes on the halfway line, and he'd make himself so like lax and get fouls, and then we'd come around the box where he thought he could score, and he would turn into Iron Man, and he would be like totally different. You'd literally 2 different strikers, but he was obviously world class for a number of years as well. Yeah.
I mean, you were only allowed to pick 5, so obviously there are going to be some you've missed out. So I'm just going to mention a couple to you. No Luis Suarez. Were you tempted?
Nah, didn't get the Luis Suarez. Like as good as he is and as good as he's been, I didn't. Never got nervous playing against Luis Suarez. As good as he is, I think he was great for Liverpool, but I think he was greater for Barcelona.
Yeah. And
I think that kind of gives him a bigger platform. Doing what he did for Barcelona was pretty impressive.
And no Fernando Torres?
Nah, again tough, but again because mostly played against Fernando, I was fullback. So I was playing left back, so I didn't really come up against him that often. But yeah, he was someone that was good. And again, another striker that probably goes unrecognised due to the calibre of striker around that time.
Yeah, at his peak, he was phenomenal, wasn't he? I got one more actually, because you played with him, but I'm assuming you played against him as well. That was Carlos Tevez.
Yeah, again goes in my 11, but against him. It would have been United, and I was fullback, so I never really played against him as a striker, as a centre half. But teammate, wow, different.
He had that public falling out with Roberto Mancini, didn't he? It was against Bayern Munich, wasn't
Munich, he? Yeah, I was there.
Where the story was, and I'm not sure the true story or not, was that he refused to come on.
No, that is not the true story. He refused to warm up anymore. He'd been warming up for like 20 minutes and he was ready to go on. So when Mancini said, go and warm up, you're going on, he said, I'm ready to go on, basically.
All right.
And I will go on now. Yeah, he was warming up, and then it was documented he refused to play, and that wasn't the case. And we all it was a serious issue that it was kind of, lawyers were involved and we all had to document what was said, and even the staff had to document the true version, which meant obviously Carlos was allowed to come back because he hadn't refused to play. But again, Carlos being Carlos didn't really care about what people thought in terms of outside noise, and probably should have clarified it in a way, but never, and they just accepted that was going to be the perception of him. But the reality wasn't that, and we had so much respect for Carlos because before Sergio, Carlos had put us on his back and literally won us many a game where we winning 1-0, 2-1, and Carlos was scoring the goals. And I remember one game, it was Wigan at home, and he scored this outrageous goal, and I think he literally closed down the whole back four and then forced the play back into someone else. But it's something that you recognise as a teammate and as a fan, different specimen.
Now, thanks for watching Football's Greatest on YouTube. But can I ask you please to hit that subscribe button? That way you won't miss any of our future episodes, and we have some great guests coming up on the show. Enough of those who are not in your top five. Let's talk about those who are. We've got Nicolas Anelka, we've got Edison Cavani, and number 3, this will be no surprise to people, to be honest, is Robin van Persie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the goals he scored.
Yeah, he's just his technical ability, just the way he did it, and even when you're playing against him, you could appreciate the way he moved. And he did a skill on me at Arsenal, and it was that smooth. I actually tackled him on accident. He literally did something. I don't even know what he was attempting, but he moved the ball in a way I'd actually gone with it. He'd moved it back and then shifted it to where he'd moved initially, and I'd reacted in a way that I'd gone for the first dummy, and he'd done 3 other movements, and then he was coming back into me, and I tackled him. And as a player, you recognise when you're lucky. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and I was like, oh, that was nice. That was nice. That was something I'm not used to. So again, and always give me a challenge. Again, had so many strings to his bow, but the appreciation comes down to the look of how he played.
Yeah. Could you appreciate another player's ability even during the course of a game then?
Oh, yeah.
Were you thinking to yourself, my God, he's good?
Oh, yeah. Samuel Eto'o could have been on there. And that was in a pre-season game. He did a couple of movements to me, and I was like, oh, if that... and Rossi for Villarreal was there as well. There's, again, you just recognise that I was lucky then. So that's the way I used to try and learn as well. Not just learn from negative outcomes. It was like, well, recognise what you meant to do and what they meant to do, and if it happened the way both of you had wanted, who would have come out on top? Yeah. So it was just understanding that.
He liked a volley as well, Robin van Persie.
Technically different, and I think his son is pretty impressive as well. I think his son's not far from that technical attribute as well.
I mean, I think the other thing about van Persie is you look at his record, and I mean, in Premier League terms, he scored more than 1 in every 2 games, but he did it at more than 1 huge club, and it doesn't always work out, does it? You know, he's moved from Arsenal to Manchester United, and the expectations of him when he got to Old Trafford must have been phenomenal.
Yeah, but I think he has the mindset of wanting that responsibility and wanting to score and wanting to be the guy, and also off the back of what had happened to them the season before, there's probably not, I don't know if it was more or less pressure on him, but just that responsibility, he seems, I do know him, but he seemed like someone that wants that. Would he have wanted to go there off the back of them winning the league and just being a part of the squad? You were brought there to win the title, and he did that, didn't he?
When it came to football then, did he have tunnel vision? Was that the only thing in his life effectively?
Possibly.
Was goal scoring?
I don't know, because he could do a lot more. He probably wasn't like, I think his mentality was closer to Sergio Aguero than it was a Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. When
Wayne Rooney was the love of the game, where Sergio was, I want to score. I think he was closer to that, but he had the capabilities to do the other side of it as well.
Let's move on to number 2. Familiar name, and and somebody I think is often underestimated.
Definitely.
And that's Wayne Rooney. And you look at his record, and it's beyond belief, and I often think, I don't know if you agree, Johnny, I often think if he'd been from overseas, if he'd been South American, if he'd been European, people would think, wow, he is one of the greatest ever, and maybe he doesn't always get that accolade.
Yeah, I don't know why. There's no player that doesn't give him that level of appreciation.
Yeah.
No footballer would have played with or against Wayne Rooney and not recognised he is the best English player, the best English striker. But yeah, he could do everything, and he was the first person I came across that I thought wanted to win more than I did. Like, I knew I wanted to win, and then I came across Wayne, and I was like, oh, he needs to win. Like, he really needs to win, like, more. And I was like, that was a different mentality, but on top of that, his ability was stupid. Like, stupidly good. His performance against France, was it 2004? I still think that's the best performance I've seen from an England player. There may have been better before that, but I've obviously privy to watch. But the one I can remember, that performance against that France team when they had their superstars, Wayne Rooney.
So he gave you some difficult times, did he?
For a variety of reasons. Verbals, physical challenges, goals he scored. Someone that wanted to make it uncomfortable for me. So when I was in possession, like, would enjoy that side of it as much as scoring. Just everything. You never come off the pitch against Wayne not tired, physically and mentally. It was just a full 90 minutes. So for whatever mood he was in, and again, the game when he scored the overhead kick, he wasn't even playing that well, but again, he has the capabilities to do that. So remarkable talent.
And I don't mean it disrespectfully, but he was a little bull, wasn't he, as well?
Oh yeah,
you know?
That's what I mean. He was everything you'd want someone to be. He could play as a number 9 out and have the mentality to score the goals, or he could drop in, or he could do the work. And I think that was his makeup, and probably the lack of appreciation for him was that he wanted to do everything as well as score. I think if he just wanted to score, he would have scored a hatful more goals, and probably been recognised a bit more. But Wayne played for the love of the game, his love for football and his will to win. So whatever the team needed, whether it was track the fullback, play on the left wing or the right wing and stop their best player, he would do that. And as long as the team won and he enjoyed playing, then that's what he wanted.
So Rooney's a little bull. Didier Drogba was a bit bigger.
Drugzilla.
Yeah. Who's the stronger? Is that what you called him, Drugzilla?
Drugzilla, that was his nickname. Yeah, that's his nickname. Yeah.
Who was the stronger?
Different types of strength. Tenacious Wazza was more. He was. You could think you've got rid of him, and then he's coming back, and he's back. So he's probably not. You probably not got rid of him until the ball's gone. But pure strength would be Drogba. But again, that was something I enjoyed. So
you relished that.
Yeah. I fancied myself whenever that challenge came upon us. But yeah, probably strength, like visual strength, you would say Drogba.
Do you think it helped that Sir Alex was his manager at the time as well, because he got him? He knew what Wayne was about.
Yeah, the experience of Sir Alex having managed unique talents and personalities like that obviously helps, and obviously the fact that it was Sir Alex helped Wayne understand that there's a level of respect you have to have for a manager as well, and he probably had that. So yeah, I don't think there was a better match for both of them, really.
I do hope you're enjoying the show. I just want to tell you that you can follow us at Football's Greatest Pod on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook, and search for Football's Greatest Pod to find us on X. I'm going to ask you about some players that you've not played against, some strikers that you've not played against, and you know, just your views on them now, but you know, in terms of current players. Here's an easy one then. Harry Kane or Erling Haaland? You can only have one of them. Who are you having?
I played against Harry Kane.
Oh, of course, when he was younger,
he was younger, at Spurs.
Were you aware then, you know?
Yeah,
that he was scoring goals.
He was scoring goals. He wasn't like, I think he was number 10 at Spurs, so he wasn't like just an inexperienced player.
I mean, they couldn't be more different, could they? Really, no. Kane and Haaland.
And that's the thing. So from what I would want, I want the mentality of Haaland that just wants to score. Like Harry Kane will score goals. If you create chances, they both score. similar numbers of goals. But the things that I think are different is the mentality of Haaland, and also I think he has probably a couple more variety of goals. I think there's the one I remember was one against Southampton and one against Dortmund that I think his physical attributes allow him to score. I think it was only probably Zlatan that scores similar goals due to their physical stature. So I would go Haaland, but not even for the physical element, just the mentality of I want my striker to only want to score. Yeah. I'm not saying Haaland only does that or wants to do that, but having played with Sergio and knowing that is equally as important as someone like Wayne Rooney that wants to do a lot more, I want my strikers to do that.
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously, the Kane fans would argue that obviously Harry creates, Erling Haaland's tunnel vision when it comes to goal scoring. Harry can play that sort of quarterback role as well.
Listen, whatever you want your 10-9 to do, then Harry Kane will be able to do that. But I think if you ask Harry Kane to do that, I think you're taking away a lot of what he brings to a team. Haven't seen many games, obviously, at Bayern, but listen, I'm sure he's enjoying it, but he wants to be involved. You can see that, and he has the capabilities to be involved, which if I'm managing a team like Man City or a top team, I don't want him to be involved. I just want you to score. I've got my midfielders, I've got my Phil Fodens and Kevin De Bruyne to be involved. You just be up there.
Yeah, I think that it's not a direct comparison, but Unai Emery's changed Ollie Watkins' game, hasn't he? So that he plays more centrally, and consequently he's scoring more goals.
Again, the same. I just want him to focus on challenging your runs in behind. Just if you're going to run 20 times a game, 17 of them I want them to be in behind and challenging defenders rather than 10 recovery runs. Like for me, I would position my strikers and the mentality of that, and Ollie Watkins is someone that I can imagine is not comfortable to play against just for that reason, regardless of his goals. I just think he was just challenging you constantly, and you're going to come off drained as well.
Do you like him? Has he surprised you this season a bit?
Yeah, definitely. Again, the variety of goals, I think he's I won't say surprised because it sounds disrespectful that he didn't think he could score that, but I just think he's shown a level of consistency, I think, that he probably hasn't shown. I don't think he's ever been in question his goal scoring, but he's maintained it for a season. I think, you can look at him and say, he's definitely a top striker.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, when we've been talking about the fact that, when you were in the England setup, at times you were unlucky because it was Rio and John Terry, for example. Has Ollie been a bit unlucky in the sense that Harry Kane is there ahead of him?
No, definitely. I think timing is everything. Timing is everything, but also he's been lucky that it's only Harry Kane. Like when that was Jermaine Defoe, there was Wayne Rooney, and there was Michael Owen, and there was Crouch. There was a variety of strikers. So again, he's unlucky that it is Harry Kane, but he's lucky there's only Harry Kane in front of him. So he's next in line, and rightly so. And as I said, timing is everything in football.
Let's move back to your top five then, and I'm going to let you name this guy. He is your number one, and if people are at home listening now or driving in their car, I honestly don't think anybody will pick this guy. But of course, a footballer's perspective is very different from a football fan's perspective, isn't it? So tell me, who's the number one striker you've played against, Joleon?
Louis Saha, King Louis. King Louis. I was at, and I get this from, and I was at Wolves. Again, these are players that have given me the toughest time. At Wolves, he's at Fulham. Fulham are top of the league. I've averaged 2-3 goals a game, 2.5 goals a game, top of the league. First 10 games of the season. So I'm aware this is going to be a tough game. So I'll go into the game thinking it's going to be tough. 0-0, I get man of the match. Thinking it's not as tough as I thought. Fast forward 4 weeks, we played him in the cup. I'm thinking it's going to be the same. He's obviously thinking I need to up my level, and that was the first time I came across someone that in every attribute I valued, he was better than. Like if someone was faster, I was stronger, could tactically be better, physically be better, whatever. whatever they had, I could use a different attribute to navigate a better outcome. Not that saying I dominated every opponent, but that was someone, the first person I came across that in every element of the game I considered important, he showed me that he was superior and helped me become a better professional, because he made me realise, oh, there's another level to go here. I can't just play on the things I think are important. He scored, we lost 3-0. He scored a free kick with his right foot and a pen with his left foot. And the ball come to him and he chipped it with the outside of his foot, ran one side, the ball went the other side. I was just like dysenteriated. And it was just something that I'd never experienced, and the first time I experienced it. And yeah, for that, I always had so much respect for Louis. And then I got to play with him at Everton, and I still call him King Louis now when I speak to him.
Yeah, because obviously he was wonderful at Fulham.
Yeah,
and a lot of respect. No surprise that he got his chance at Manchester United. You just wonder, and again, hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? You just wonder whether if he hadn't had that injury after injury after injury, whether United fans would think of him now as one of their greats.
It was funny because, again, spoke to him about that when he came to Everton and made him realise, like, we need a version of that. We don't need you to be the Man United Louis Saha. It's different. But he explained it as, when he's competing with Van Nistelrooy and Wayne Rooney, he knew he had to be 100%, because if he wasn't, they were going to score. And if he wasn't at 100%, then he wouldn't score, which means he wouldn't play. So he said there was times when he could have played, but wasn't at the best he thought he could be, so would not play due to that. And I understood that, but I was saying, we don't need you 80% Louis Saha for Everton. What we need you to do is enough. We don't need Man United Louis Saha, Champions League Louis Saha. We just need someone that is going to do these things for us. And yeah, it was interesting to hear him understand that, when you are competing with the best of the best, which are Van Nistelrooy and Rooney were, he felt he needed to be at his best, and that probably hindered his game availability a little bit.
I mean, they are tough to compete with, aren't they?
Big names.
And when he got to Everton, I mean, those injuries taken its toll? Was he not quite the player that he had been?
Yeah, I would say so, but he was still, like, contributed a lot. He scored in the FA Cup final, albeit we lost the game, but Louis Saha was probably more important to us than he was United. And I think that was important to him. He was available a lot of the time, again, which is important. And I think it took a period of time to him to realise, like I said, the 100% Louis Saha version he wanted and needed to be. We didn't need that.
So his attitude had changed then?
It went more, just understanding of himself, his body, and what the requirements were to play for us were different to United. Do you know what I mean? The expectation. And I think that is what goes underestimated from a lot of people that haven't played at that level. It's like, technically you think someone can go and play for United. Oh, he could play for United, he could play for City. There's now expectations that come with that. Like you're saying, if you haven't scored for 2 weeks and you've come from a lesser team that hasn't been on telly, you have to score for United, and you have to play well, and you have to do it in a way that's entertaining. And there's expectations that come with playing at the top that go underestimated from players. There's never mind fans, but players think, oh, I could do that. I'm like, you probably couldn't, because again, now everyone's watching. And it's different than when everyone's expecting you to do something and you have to do it, rather than you have a kind of an excuse if it doesn't go well.
Did the fans get him at Everton? Did they?
Oh yeah, we got him, because again, he contributed. He was available. He contributed. And one thing you could say about Lou, when he played, he gave all, and you could see, as much as he was exciting and technically he was great, he would compete. And for an Evertonian, that's all they want to see, is their players competing.
Look, that's a really interesting top five. So it's Anelka, Cavani, Robin van Persie, Wayne Rooney, and Louis Saha. I just think when I look at all those strikers and the few that we've left out there as well, and the adoration and the accolades that they got. Do you ever wish you'd been a striker?
Oh, I think everyone wished there was a striker. I was a striker until I realised I was not going to be a professional striker.
Right. So as a kid, were you a
striker?
Yeah,
as a kid, I think most players were. I think everyone plays up front until you get to a level where you're not as good, and then you filter back, and that was me, a striker. But wanted to be a midfielder. Always wanted to play midfield. Paul Ince was my hero growing up, and then realised I wasn't going to be a midfielder. I was only going to be a defender, so I had to recognise that.
Hey, as a defender, it was a pretty darn good career, though, Joleon.
Not too bad.
Look, thank you very much indeed for your top 5 strikers that you played against. Enjoyed it.
Pleasure.
And we've reached the end of Football's Greatest. My thanks to Joleon Lescott for joining us today. Next time on Football's Greatest.
And I burnt my backside that night. I was that drunk. These iron bars you have in your bathroom. I fell on that and burnt my backside. I had a whole scar right up my backside. So that was going out with McQueen and Brian Robson.
Please subscribe to the show on YouTube or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Football's Greatest is a folding pocket production with BBC Studios.